Hello and welcome to today's webinar for ForeFlight for Europe. Today's start to the series covers some of the basics of ForeFlight. You can win a 1-year license of ForeFlight Performance Plus Europe, and that license will be raffled off among all participants in the webinar series, so stay tuned. We start with the requirements and the installation of the ForeFlight mobile app, the widget, and the options for customizing the app. Then we continue with the settings in the map view and gestures used in ForeFlight. Finally, we will show which airport information is available. Before we start, a few housekeeping items. Questions can be asked via the message panel and will be answered during the presentation. If you have any question that is not answered, please send them to team@foreflight.com and the team will answer them. If you experience technical problems during the webinar, please try to restart the webinar. But don't worry, the webinar will be recorded and published on foreflight.com/webinars. Now let's get started. The ForeFlight mobile app runs on Apple devices with the iOS operating system. With individual subscriptions, up to 3 devices can be operated in parallel in an individual account. While with business accounts, there are up to 2 devices per user. The minimum iOS version for the current ForeFlight version is iOS 16. Older devices that cannot be updated to iOS 16 are still supported but will not receive a newer ForeFlight mobile version. The data continues to be updated. Wi-Fi only devices require an external GPS source, such as a built-in avionics or a mobile GPS receiver, such as a Sentry Plus, to display your own position and record the flight track. Therefore, when purchasing a new one, it's best to make sure to purchase an iPad that also has a cellular option. The storage capacity required depends on the use case. Current devices have a storage capacity of at least 64 GB, which is sufficient. Larger storage capacity is only necessary in cases where global data coverage with additional Jeppesen charts is needed. Before installing the ForeFlight mobile app, check the installed iOS version and update if necessary. You should also check whether there is enough free storage space available. Then you can install the app, sign in and download the data. Preparing the iPad begins in the device settings. The software update can be found there under General. Here you can see whether the current iOS is installed and updated if necessary. Settings. You can search for the App Store in the search line and switch on automatic app updates here. This ensures apps are updated automatically when newer releases are published. ForeFlight Mobile is updated every month, so make sure this option is enabled. In the App Store itself, search for the ForeFlight Mobile EFB. This can be installed or opened here. If the app is already installed, click on the icon with the image on the top right corner of the App Store and load the current versions. After installing the ForeFlight mobile app, please turn the location services on to always. The flight is then recorded even when the device screen is switched off. After installation, the ForeFlight Mobile app icon appears and the app can be started. Tapping and holding the icon opens the ForeFlight widget. This allows you to directly display information about the nearest airport or the current weather. You can also immediately start planning a new flight or access the logbook. After starting the app for the first time, you have to sign in with your email address. If you don't yet have an account, you can create one by clicking on I need an account. If you have a ForeFlight account, please click on I have an account. Enter your email address there, the password, and you are signed in. A forgotten password can also be reset here. After entering your email address, a link to reset your password will be sent. You can also contact our support team directly via Need Help. After starting the ForeFlight Mobile app, the individual data is synchronized in the background. The download of the regional data packages also begins. In this example, you can see that 47 files are available for download. The download screen can be selected in the sidebar menu, which can be accessed via the More tab. Regional data can be selected here. By default, the country in which the iPad is installed is pre-selected based on the iPad location. Additional countries can be added optionally. The list also shows the storage capacity required for an individual country data, and you can also see which charts and maps are not available for that country. Under Data Settings, you can specify which data types should be loaded. The individual settings for the ForeFlight Mobile app can also be found under the sidebar menu. When installing the ForeFlight Mobile app, everything is set up so that you can start immediately. However, I would like to take the opportunity to introduce some useful settings. There's a search line in the settings. There, search for appropriate entries by entering keywords can be executed. When entering units, you will find the settings for units and time. Here, the units for displaying speeds, air pressure or runway length can be adjusted. The time zone used for recordings can be set under times. UTC, local time or station time are available as an option. If you enter ownership in the search line, you can specify the way in which your own aircraft is displayed. Set the color or the associated symbol. The use of distance rings around your position can also be activated, and the parameters for them can be set. Distance rings can be defined based on the distance in or the flight time. In addition, fixed values or values automatically adjusted to the zoom level can be used. Map touch action is an important when using optional add-on charts. Using map touch action, you can set the reaction when tapping on these add-on maps. The maps are brought to the foreground either with or without a legend. The download settings allow you to update the maps in the background or via the mobile network. Track lock settings allow automatic activation or deactivation of recording after takeoff and landing. In addition, the record button, now visible on the left side below the quick filter, can also be switched on or off. Those were some useful settings. ForeFlight Mobile can indeed be customized for the individual pilot. However, the default settings are already set correctly to get you started. The ForeFlight Mobile app is organized so that there are different tabs on the bottom of the screen and a navigation bar at the top of the screen that adjusts depending on the tab you are viewing. The tabs displayed and their order can be changed by using the sidebar menu. Edit tab order allows you to change the order of the apps displayed. This is then saved for this specific device. The number of fixed tabs displayed depends on the device used, screen size, or other things. The navigation bar at the top of the screen is adjusted depending on the tab. In the airport view, nearby airports are displayed when tapping the crosshair icon. You can select if you want to see all airports or only those with weather reporting. Second icon from the right, the selected airport can be shown in the map view. An important tool is a search bar in the ForeFlight Mobile app. This search line can be found in several places in the app and allows you to search for locations, addresses, routes, or other elements in the app. Examples are displayed when tapping into the search line. Now let's move on to the map view. By default, the aeronautical map layer is set, which displays the navigation, obstacle, and terrain data from Jeppesen. But ForeFlight also allows the display of a number of optional add-on maps. The Europe VFR map layer contains all VFR maps that are provided free of charge by European countries. These are Iceland, Faroe Islands, Denmark, France, the Netherlands, Spain, Switzerland, and Italy. Optional additional charts are available for other countries for purchase. Providers are, for example, the German Air Traffic Control DFS, Rogers Data, or Air Million, which offers very good coverage of large parts of Europe in a 1:1 million format. Other national providers are also available. During the webinar series, we will only work with the aeronautical map layer. The map itself can also be individually adjusted via the map settings. Firstly, there is a map theme. This can be switched from dark, suitable for night flights, to light. The shaded representation is recommended for the terrain. Shaded terrain provides many map details such as forests, lakes, rivers, railways, and others. The display of peaks, mountain passes, and cable cars can also be switched on here. The brightness of the screen can be regulated and the colors can also be inverted for night flight by a switch. The size of the characters can be adjusted using the slider between small and the large T for text. The quick filter allows you to show and hide map elements of the aeronautical map layer. The ForeFlight Mobile app offers a whole range of alerts, which can also be spoken if necessary. To do this, the iPad must be connected to a corresponding audio device via Bluetooth. This can be a Bluetooth audio panel, but also a Bluetooth headset. Spoken alerts improve situational awareness without having to stare at the iPad. Airspace alerts can also be customized. The vertical distance for warnings can be adjusted using the altitude buffer. Horizontal spacing is also available as an option. Here again you can see the alert based on the flight time or the distance to the airspace ahead. The airspace types to be warned about can be selected here. When connected to an ADS-B or an FLAM receiver, the settings for traffic warnings can also be adjusted. Warnings for an aircraft on the runway or approaching the runway can be customized as a warning, and also warning about traffic on the short final. Especially for the airspace, there are various options for optimizing their depiction. You can adjust or hide airspace above a certain altitude, or select the option to hide NOTAM activated airspace. This is a useful option, especially for flying in Belgium or France. When the function is switched on, airspaces are displayed that are activated via NOTAM, and if you deactivate that switch, these airspaces are hidden. In this case, the NOTAM map overlay must be activated as an additional information to show active airspaces. The option to hide airspace above a certain altitude is turned off by default, so that all airspace is shown. If you enter a number up to 499, it will be converted into flight levels, and a number higher or starting with 500 will be converted into feet. All airspaces that start above the entered altitude are then hidden. For quicker access to the filter function, a message appears at the bottom right of the screen as soon as one filter is active. When the node is tapped, the same configuration options are visible as before. The function of the crosshair icon has already been discussed in the airport section. In the map view, this icon centers the aircraft symbol on the current position, and you can switch between north up and track up by tapping on the compass rose underneath. Apple offers various gestures for applications that can be carried out with 2, 3, 4 or 5 fingers. ForeFlight has adapted these gestures for operation, and I would like to show you a few examples. The map can be moved with one finger. A quick tap on a card element opens the detailed view on the right. Another quick tap somewhere on the map closes a window. A long tap opens a sidebar menu, and the airspaces at that point are displayed. You can zoom on the map with 2 fingers. Tapping and holding with 2 fingers opens a ruler, and the direction and distance between 2 points can be determined. When you lift your fingers, the flight time and the fuel consumption for this route are displayed based on the set aircraft parameters. Another option with 3 fingers is available in the approach chart view. Here you can easily switch back and forth between pre-selected charts with 3 fingers without having to select the corresponding chart in the menu on the left. The last item in today's webinar is the airport information available in ForeFlight. To do this, we switch to the Airport tab. Here we have selected Burfield Airfield. Airports saved as favorites can be displayed on the left-hand side. To add an airport to the favorites, you must click on the star above the airport information. Furthermore, the most recently searched airports can be displayed. The airports that are currently planned in the map view or in the flights, or you can search for them in the directory. For airfields in mountain area, this mountain symbol can be used to display the highest and the minimum elevation within a radius of 10 nautical miles, as well as the airport altitude. Performance Plus customers have the opportunity to view the airport in 3D. Especially when flying into unknown airfields, you get an impression of landmarks, ground features, and obstacles that can help with orientation. We will now select 1 runway, 26 gravel, and you can see the power lines in the vicinity, the river, as well as a highway. If the airport has runway lighting, this will be displayed in the night view, as well as illuminated obstacles in the area. Useful information about airports visible to other pilots can be added in the comments by tapping on the plus. Fixed base operator is a name that comes from the US. Information about the airfield, such as telephone numbers, addresses, email addresses, and more, is stored here. Fuel prices can also be updated under FBO. In the lower area, there is not only all frequency information and operating time, but also the respective airport weather information. If the airport does not report meters, you can see the weather information of nearby airports, reporting weather information. You can find runway information, like the dimensions of the runway, the slope, displaced thresholds, lightning, and more. Under procedures, you can see all procedure charts available for that specific airfield. In addition, there are NOTAMs to the airport, the flight information region displayed here, or for obstacles in the vicinity of the airfield. Operating hours are also displayed under the airport information. That should it be for today's webinar. We have talked about the requirements for installing the ForeFlight Mobile app, how the app can be individualized, how the map view can be configured, and airfield informations can be found in the ForeFlight Mobile app. The next webinar in this series will cover putting in aircraft data and configuring a mass and balance profile. If you like to try ForeFlight, you can activate a free trial subscription via the website ForeFlight foreflight.com/30day Europe. The website also contains further information about current and past releases. And there is the option to register for future webinars or to contact our pilot support team. Now let's answer some questions that I asked during the presentation. Yeah, thank you for staying so long in the webinar. And there are a couple of questions I'd like to answer now in that part. So, there is a question, how can I show the nearest airport? So there are two options. One thing is to see permanently the nearest airport. You can select the instrument line, then select nearest airport, and then you get the information of the nearest airport, the distance, and the bearing to that airfield. So that is permanently updated during the flight so that you have always the information what is the nearest airport. The other option is when you don't have that instrument line, you tap and hold the map and you can show airports in increasing distance from your current position. That includes all airfields, including here helicopter landing fields, glider fields, and so on. So there are different options to show airports nearing a specific position. If you go to the current position and you tap and hold, that's the same. Here you can see also all airports close to you, and you can also see the information for these airfields. Hope that answers the question. That was the nearest airfield. Then there was another question about the subscription plans. Here, the easiest way is to go to the ForeFlight website, and here you can see a comparison between the plans, what is included in a plan, and you can also see all features down here, what is in Basic Plus, Pro Plus, and Performance Plus, and then you can decide which plan is sufficient for you. Then there was another question regarding TFRs. So there is an option under alerts. Here you can see what airspace types you have. Not TFRs. Okay, that was my here fault. We have an altitude buffer for TFR alerts. Yeah, so that was the point. You can't disable them, but you have an altitude buffer. So then there's another question was coming in regarding the Sentry Plus. Sentry Plus, we are very proud of that product. They're providing ADS-B and FLAM traffic designed especially for the European market and with pretty nice FLAM and ADS-B capabilities. And there's a question if there is a chance to get mobile data activated while using a Sentry Plus or another mobile receiver. At the moment, not. Could you please drop an email to team@foreflight.com and we will add it to the list of features we will add in near futures. Okay, then there was a question again regarding the minimum maximum altitude. So if you have an airfield in the mountain area, you have that tiny icon here. Thank you, Keith. Yeah, good. Beside the runway icon, and here you can see maximum, minimum terrain and the airport elevation. Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, we have added airspace or frequencies to airspace alerts. That's a good thing. Yeah, so I think that's it for today. Thank you for attending. And yeah, we will, as said, for every webinar, we will do the raffle. And yeah, probably one of you will win the 1-year license Performance Plus. Thank you for attending. And yeah, hope to hear you again next week. Have a great evening. Bye.